really have a problem with that? And I can say this. Ron, last subathon, said it. Muted his mic and said it. The chat laughed, and everybody told him to say it. And he said it.
Now you ratting on Ron?
I wasn't even gonna make a video on this at first, but the FaZe situation has officially gone from messy to straight up uncomfortable. And whether you like FaZe Banks or hate him, the internet did what it always does, and took it way too far. So here's the quick setup. FaZe Clan, one of the biggest orgs ever, starts falling apart. Members leave, things go quiet, rumors start flying. That alone would have been normal drama. But instead of focusing on the org, everyone zeroed in on one person. And once the internet picks a target, it's over.
And I was called a fucking retard then, and I was told then I was ruining FaZe, and now 2 years later, it wound up being the best thing that ever happened. So you understand why I'm sitting here and I'm frustrated. I would hope anyone watching could sit here and understand why I would be frustrated while a fucking entire hate mob is coming after me on fucking Christmas, my first Christmas without my mom, when all I've ever fucking wanted to do is help FaZe be successful. That's all I've ever wanted to do. That's the only intent. Where's the money? I'm this fucking guy who's trying to take everything from everybody. Where is it? Then why the fuck am I millions of dollars in debt?
Every tweet became a joke. Every emotional post became a meme. People weren't even adding new commentary. It was just recycling the same insults for likes. Age jokes, wash jokes, mental health jokes. All easy engagement. And at first people laugh. Then it just keeps going and going. Then Banks posts something about flying to a remote island and maybe not coming back. And look, maybe it was dramatic, maybe it was a joke, maybe it was serious. But the response was wild. No concern, no pause, just nicknames and memes. That's usually a sign things have officially jumped the rails. And then out of nowhere, the worst possible thing happens. People start spreading accusations involving an underage relationship. No proof, no sources. Just trust me, bro, energy. And I don't care how much you dislike someone. That is not internet drama. That's something that follows people for life. And it also drags another person into it who didn't ask for any of this.
Yo, you was able to manipulate her because she was young, and you were 20 plus years older than her. You manipulate her. You're a groomer. Weirdo. She was 17, Ricky.
Banks responds. He denies it, gives dates, says lawyers are involved. And again, you don't have to support him to say this. Lying about something like that is disgusting. That's not accountability. That's weaponizing the algorithm. At the same time, a former FaZe member steps in with his own story. He says Banks manipulated him, pressured him, messed with his head during a rough time. Banks fires back. DMs get posted. Now we're watching private conversations get turned into content. And this is where it gets muddy because someone can genuinely feel hurt and still exaggerate once the internet's watching. The truth usually lives somewhere in the middle. Twitter hates that. Then old clips resurface. Language gets brought up. And instead of this being handled cleanly, it turns into excuses, comparisons, and defensiveness. That never helps. Ever. At that point, nobody's learning anything. Everyone's just trying to win.
All right, so here we are. Here's my conversation with Max, July 28th. This is when that whole thing where he heard that I said all blanks. Again, this wasn't aimed toward Max. This wasn't said at Max. There was never any sort of like racist connotation toward this word being used ever. Saw people talking about hard R and no, that's all noise.
When you zoom out, this isn't really about one person. It's about what happens when a massive brand collapses publicly. People feel burned, and the internet rewards whoever's loudest. Truth doesn't spread faster than outrage. It never has. You don't have to defend anyone to say this went too far. Criticize behavior. Talk about power dynamics. Debate bad decisions. All fair. But making stuff up, especially stuff that's serious, for clicks, that's where everything breaks. If we actually want accountability online, we can't turn lies into entertainment. So subscribe if you want real breakdowns, not just noise.